So if, like me, you grew up in the 90s, everything going on here is probably giving you a nice warm feeling in the tummy. Twin headlights on an adventure bike, big googly eyes looking at you out of the dust. That does funny things to me. Africa Twins, Yamaha Super Teneres, the Cagiva Elephant, that era of big 2 headlight bikes is what got me into being excited about things like Dakar, got me into big trailies. Now, fast forward 30 years, there's plenty of retro bikes in the sort of road bike segment, but we're starting to see now a couple of more retro styled bikes appearing in the adventure bike world. And personally, and this is a personal thing, I think this Ducati DesertX is one of the best looking adventure bikes out there. It's no good looking good though. You've got to be able to back that up with some performance, and this thing really does. These videos only happen because of the support and help from our sponsors. Support the companies that support us. Here we go then. Pretty hotly anticipated ride, this one, the Ducati DesertX. If a bike can be judged on looks alone, it's ticking a lot of boxes for me right now. Visually they've done a good job. And it feels nice, it feels beautiful, like riding position. Everything feels pretty natural and easy. And you know what? First pull away, first ride out, easy clutch, well balanced. I am very, very much looking forward to today's ride and getting to know this bike. So we had our first little road ride. Good little cruise, 15 minutes or so. Really nice, really rideable. Little tease, it's got some punch, especially in the mid-range. Pretty smooth for a twin. Again, it's never going to be as smooth as a parallel twin, but for a V-twin it's pretty smooth. No buzzy fingers or anything like that. And yeah, now it's the exciting bit. It's time for off-road. Now we're on it. Now we're on to some more open flowing tracks. This is without doubt a real step in adventure bikes in the Ducati range. This has got off-road performance that no other Ducati does. It doesn't feel like we're sacrificing a lot of road performance to get that. Yeah, seriously impressive. They've made a really nice engine, a really characterful engine. They've got such a good complement of riding modes. You can always tweak it for a calmer experience, wind it up a bit to widen things out a bit, and best of all, that has applied from the second you throw a leg over it. It feels easy to ride. You cannot fault that. Nice. Now we need some technical stuff to try it on. That's for sure. Look at this! A regular little playground. I can pretend I'm a really rubbish version of Poltaras or Tony Bow. That's awesome. And you know what? Very rideable in this stuff. I'm impressed. I'm not going to sit here and read through all the spec sheets for you, but importantly, it's got 110 horsepower. It's 223 kilos, so absolutely not the lightest adventure bike out there, but a sensible weight. We're not talking a 250 kilo, 260 kilo monster. On top of all that, they've managed to make a bike that not only performs well in the dirt, absolutely rips on the street too. And that is a really, really impressive feat. That was awesome. I'm into that a lot. So the DesertX, this is Ducati's first kind of 21-inch front wheel bike. They keep going on about that, ignoring the ones they did in the 60s. This is their first real go at this kind of more off-road biased adventure segment. Now they had the Multistrada Enduro. The new V4 Multistrada we've tested and it is phenomenally off-road, but it's still kind of in that 19-inch wheel pseudo off-road bike world. This thing takes it to another level. I mean, for God's sake, they've been introducing it using Antoine Mayo, a multiple Enduro world champion, a genuine legend of the Enduro world. If you check out Ducati's video of him, he's sending it over like 60-foot tabletops. He's whipping it. He's doing whips on an adventure bike. It is mind-blowing. So there's no doubt this thing has the capability to be absolutely sent off-road. Now, the tracks we've been riding today have been fast, flowy, adventure bike style tracks. Kicker jumps, few rocks, few holes, and this thing laps them up. A really natural, really nice riding position. It's in that new school of adventure bikes where it's quite high bars, but where they've moved your weight forward, you've still got plenty of feel on the front tyre. Looking at that, you'd think that they'd done all their effort into making the thing work really, really well, riding flat out off-road. But it actually works at a slow speed as well. I've been messing around with some trialsy stuff. It's not the most trialsy bike out there, but that sort of, oh, I've tucked the front on a rock, it behaves so well, it doesn't want to fall over instantly, and it gives you a bit of confidence at the low speed, which is super important for an adventure bike. Now, I don't want to go on about off-road all day because Ducati's already done that. They've made that point. The DesertX rips in the dirt. What they don't really tell you too much in all their marketing videos is this thing's incredible on the street, despite a skinny 21-inch front tyre, despite the long travel, despite the fact that they've made an off-road bike. I questioned them when we arrived this morning to see it's on Pirelli Scorpion STR tyres. That is not even a 50-50, that's like an 80-20 road bias tyre. Now the tracks we've been riding, they've kind of performed all right on. You know, they're not a great tyre in the mud, but I couldn't understand why they've introduced an off-road bike with a road bias tyre until I got on the tarmac. You just forget you're on an adventure bike. You can pile it into the turns, you can lean on the front brake deep into a corner, you can throw it on its side till the pegs are dragging. They've done a really good job. It all makes sense now because this thing is one hell of a road bike. They've made a road bike that gives you as much confidence to ride fast off-road as Triumph's new Tiger 1200, and that's a big compliment. Any issues I've had with this today? A couple of niggly ones. Step one, the gearbox is not the smoothest. It's a good gearbox, it's not a clunky gearbox, but I've had a few kind of rough shifts first, second and third, particularly when you're not really on it, when you're just sort of cruising or pulling away. That is a minor niggle, and in this bike's class, the parallel twin engines from KTM, Husqvarna, etc. are very smooth in that world, so maybe that's what highlights this one's not that level of smoothness. Other complaints from it, a few and far between, to be honest. I really, really like how it feels. You can pick holes in the things they've left on, the things they've left off, but that specking of the bike comes down to where they've tried to place it in the market. It's not the cheapest, it's around 14 grand, so it's not a budget adventure bike, so it's not going to be troubling things like the Yamaha Tenere. For the money and for what it looks like, it gets a massive tick. Next job, we need to take it back to the UK and get some sloppy, muddy, tricky lanes on it. I want to see just how well this thing performs when things get slow, technical, and there's no grip. But until then, Ducati DesertX gets a massive post-retro 90s throwback thumbs up from me. Rad.
I can smell your boot gently burning away down there.